Welcome to Morning Java here at DKPittsburghSports.com. I'm Chris Carter here with Dale Lolley. We talked about this earlier this week, but it's time for our last Java talking about this Steelers-Jaguars game. Now, finally, yeah.
Thank God.
You're just ready to get this over with. Steelers play Sunday, 1 o'clock at Heinz Field. They're hosting. There's been a lot of talk. Let's before we get into the game, let's talk about the big news of the day that everyone's talking about, and that's Le'Veon Bell's comments that Jeremy Fowler reported at ESPN as far as he says he won't play if he's franchise tagged.
He didn't say he wouldn't play. He said he would think about not playing.
Oh, he would think about it.
Big difference there. Dumb comments. Mm-hmm. Don't talk about it during a playoff week. Just stupid.
Did it come off like as a...
I don't know how it came off. I wasn't there, and B, I don't know what purpose it serves for him to talk about it at this point.
That's the thing that strikes me so odd.
All he had to say was, I don't want to talk about that now. We get a playoff game coming up. Uh-huh. Not a very smart move on Le'Veon Bell's part.
I agree on that part. It makes no sense. You're in the middle of the playoff run. You've had all these distractions every week. They're like, you know what? We've been winning with distractions. Let's just create another one for us right now. Doesn't make much sense to do it right now. The Steelers aren't going to budge right now. It's not like that's going to influence them.
They don't even negotiate right now, so there's no reason to bring it up. To be quite frank, I get why Jeremy brought it up, maybe. But there's enough other stuff going on that's something that you talk about in the offseason.
I hadn't even thought about a Le'Veon Bell contract situation since he came out of the holdout.
No, he's playing this season. That's something that you talk to him about in the offseason. I get it. So he answered the questions. Good for Jeremy that he answered the questions. But quite frankly, he shouldn't have answered the questions. And is it going to be a distraction? No. There's no distraction with that. Mm-hmm. Everybody in the locker room knows that he held out.
Right.
He wanted to be paid more. That's nothing new. Did he do anything this season to lessen what his value is to the team? No.
Might have increased it.
Yeah, he may have increased it. So
and we still have the playoffs to come.
Yeah, and you still have playoff games to go. So people are going to be mad about it, and they're going to be upset, and I get that. But it's not a distraction. He's not thinking about it. All those guys, every guy in that locker room is thinking about what they need to do to get paid. That doesn't mean that they're not ready to do their job. Mm-hmm. So you can talk about it as a distraction. You can talk about it however you want to talk about it. It's not.
There you have it. No distraction here on Le'Veon Bell. Now, Dale, let's talk about the other news this week has been the injuries. Now, on Wednesday, you had the report, Stephon Tuitt and Artie Burns got injured at practice. Artie Burns had a non-contact injury. Tuitt left practice in a sling, but today it seemed like most of them might play on Sunday.
There's no might play. They're going to play.
Okay, there you go.
They both dodged the bullet with the injuries. I think they're both hyperextensions. They hurt. And as Artie Burns said, it was scary at the time when he did it because your knee gives out on a non-contact drill. It's scary.
You can't never tell how bad it is.
So they got the MRI. Stephon Tuitt had the arm checked out. They're fine. They're going to play. Mm-hmm. Crisis avoided. Now, Javon Hargrave showed up on the injury report today with a back issue. He was at practice, though, watching from the sidelines. I think if it was anything serious, you don't have him standing on the sideline watching. If it's a back injury that's going to keep him out of the game, they're going to be at full strength.
I think that's the biggest story. That's what everyone's been worried about. So despite all the problems that may have been looking like they were about to pop up, looks like the Steelers are in the clear, and the Jaguars might be the team. How's their injury report? Because Paul Posluszny was a question mark.
He was back today. Telvin Smith was back today. Jalen Ramsey was still limited with an Achilles injury. That's a big one, or could be potentially a big one. But they're reasonably healthy as well.
Yes, and I think that's a good thing for both teams because everyone wants to see these big matchups on divisional round weekend. Now, while everyone's talking about whether Jalen Ramsey will go up against Antonio Brown, let's talk about guys in the trenches. That's my favorite part of the game. The Steelers' offensive line. You had a big story on what they're anticipating going up against what might be the NFL's best defensive line. Yeah, and they
openly said this is the NFL's best defensive line. You look at the Jaguars, they're spending $50 million on their defensive linemen, their top 5 defensive linemen this year.
Sheesh.
$50 million. That's 28% of their salary cap dedicated to those 5 guys. You can't say that they've overpaid for them because they've gotten the production out of it. Mm-hmm. The Steelers likewise are spending $38 million on their offensive line. So these are the two. This is a marquee matchup. These are the two main cogs on both of these teams, and it's strength against strength. I think the team that wins that battle, or if the Steelers can at least fight them to a stalemate, I think they win this game. If Jacksonville's defensive line dominates the game, though, the Jaguars are going to win.
Yeah, then that's something that they can set a tone with. And that's what Calais Campbell's done consistently all year at that defensive end position. He crashes inside, he makes plays all over the field, he gets after the quarterback, and even if he doesn't sack the quarterback, he's creating those hurried passes that allow for Jalen Ramsey and A.J. Bouye to cut under and jump those things. Now, if there's one spot where the Steelers can take advantage of the defensive line, my thoughts would be that it would be on the interior when they attack Malik Jackson and Ngakoue, because that's where your strength is with David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey, and Ramon Foster. If Gilbert and Villanueva can keep out Fowler and Calais Campbell for the most part, I think that neutralizes the pass rush. But the key is going to be winning at the inside parts. Dale, we've been looking at this team all year. I feel like personally, this is the time when they have to assert the run game, and that's where they have to win the battles.
Yeah, I think, but I don't know that this, and a lot of people are looking to say, well, Le'Veon Bell needs to run the ball 30 times. No, if Le'Veon Bell runs the ball 30 times, the score of this game is going to be about 17-14.
Right.
And you're going to keep the Jaguars in it. The Steelers need to go out, they need to throw the football, and they need to throw it down the field. As everybody talks about how badly the Steelers secondary has played this year, and it has at times. Mm-hmm. They've given up 13 plays of 40 or more yards this season.
Who's right behind them?
Jacksonville.
Oh, man.
With 12.
There you go.
As good as Ramsey is, he will gamble. And Bouye is more the guy who won't let things get behind him.
Right.
He's not going to make he's not going to make the spectacular plays, but he's not going to get beat over the top. Mm-hmm. Ramsey will try to jump some stuff, and you can get him on double moves and those kind of things. If they can do that and beat him for some easy points, then you can run Le'Veon Bell. I think in this game, you kind of do it the way Bill Cowher used to talk about it: throw to run the ball.
Yep.
And get that team, a team that's not very offensively. They don't have a lot there. There's not a lot there offensively. Get them behind. Mm-hmm. Make Blake Bortles throw the football. Don't allow them to use to have Leonard Fournette carry the ball 28 times.
Right, and that way when you build that lead with the pass, then you can come back to the run, and then the defense, they're on the field for a lot longer, and then you start making them tired. That's when you start. That's the
key. That's the key in these games. I mean, one of the best defenses is having your defense standing on the side.
Exactly.
And so if the Steelers can keep them out there, allow them to get your offense grinding a little bit, keep your defense off the field, I think it benefits them greatly. It shortens the game a little bit in terms of you can move the ball effectively throwing it as well. I don't want to see them throw any bubble screens in this game.
No, that's the danger zone.
These guys are going to be pressing, and they're going to do a lot of things to try to disrupt your receivers at the line of scrimmage. But again, if you can get behind Ramsey, and you can get behind Ramsey, take the big play, take the shot.
Safe to say we've seen this before in a divisional matchup when they did that, when they set up the Indianapolis Colts many years ago with the play action and hitting them with a pass over the middle.
Well, think about the no-fly zone, the Denver
that's
Denver
a very
defense
good point.
A couple of years ago. They came in there, they were the number one pass defense. They were supposed to be, you couldn't throw the ball on them.
Couldn't throw the ball anywhere.
Anywhere. The Steelers come out and lit them up.
That's a very good point.
Don't be afraid just because they have this great reputation. Don't be afraid to come out and throw the football. Ben Roethlisberger's not going to throw 5 interceptions again.
Have no fear, Big Ben is here. And now it's time for What's in Your Cup, the segment where we take questions from you, the subscribers, and answer them here on the show. Today's question, Dale, comes from Steel City Fan, who asks, "Hi, Chris. If Hargrave can't go, does McCullers get significant snaps? Not feeling that great about that prospect."
Define significant. If significant is more than what he's been getting, yes, because more than what he's been getting would be 0.
Right.
He's been getting 1. 1 would be more than what he's been getting, I should say. No, it'd be L.T. Walton would be the starter. Mm-hmm. He would move into the starting lineup. They would do some things. The first game, I think they played the nickel. They went to the sub package, I think 39% of the time against the Jaguars. The Jaguars are not a team that's going to come out and run a lot of 3 wide receiver sets or anything like that. They're going to come out in a base package, 2 tight ends, that kind of stuff, and try to run the football. That means your base package is going to be on the field more than typically. But I don't see Daniel McCullers, even if on the off chance that Javon Hargrave can't play, getting more than 5 snaps.
And that's the big thing is if LT Walton, he's a proven guy out there.
Yeah.
He's not a person that they're just throwing out there. He's a lot better than, I think it was Matthews or whoever it was a few years ago. He's athletic. He
Cam
moves
Thomas,
around.
the
Cam
other guys,
Thomas, that was who I was trying to think of.
Cam
Thank
Thomas
you.
and those guys, this is a quality player. This is a guy who was drafted 10th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2010.
Well, that's Tyson Alualu.
Oh, that's who I thought you were talking about.
My bad.
Walton's a guy who they like at both spots. They like him as end. They like him at
DT.
At nose tackle. They played him a lot there in training camp. He played some there.
Alualu as well, you're right.
And Alualu can also fill in there. So, it's not going to be a lot of Daniel McCullers.
No.
He would have a hat.
He would have a hat, yes, because you need to be prepared in case several injuries happen.
But other than maybe playing some short yardage situations, those kind of things, I wouldn't see him playing a lot.
So, Steel City fan, no worries at all. Dan McCullers is not playing unless 4 people die. So, there you have it. Thanks for your questions, Steel City fan. If you want your question on Morning Java, be sure to drop a question in the comment section below. We'll address it in a future show. But from Dale and Chris Carter, have a happy weekend, and we'll see you on Sunday.